taking a step back, maybe how many startups actually succeed and fail in the B2B space?
Well, it's draconian or Darwinian, if you kind of really think about it. Various kind of stats, like 1 in 10 actually succeed, right?
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
some more kind of solid stats that, within the 20% of these startups fail within the first 2 years, almost 50% don't survive the 5 years, all the way up till, coming on to 80% aren't around in the kind of 10 to 15 year kind of period. So it is, this topic is one of the most, I guess, untalked about things when it comes to startups. It's really quite draconian. And the weird thing is when you look at founders that startup company, you get these serial startup folks, which I admire and love. But just because you've had one startup doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to have any greater chance of success or much greater chance of success as your next
Right.
kind of startup. So, long story short, we aren't as a, let's say, a community at the moment, technology community, very good at startups at the moment. So that's why this is super interesting topic to even be thinking about.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, with so many different dimensions, and yeah, you can have a great idea, but the timing is wrong, or you can have a great idea but just can't get the funding, or cut some of these things. So we're going to talk about this here. So I want to talk about why startups fail in the B2B startups fail in the first place. So, could you talk about some of the things that you've seen from both an internal as well as an operational perspective in your work now that a lot of B2B startups get wrong?
Well, I kind of come from I'd say the outside in perspective of, from a product marketing kind of background, or a market background, and even marketing background. So I kind of look at it. I've always had a little bit of a bias. I've always gone to the CEOs that I've worked with and for, and I've said, you need better product marketing, and it's just terrible. And I've always, for a while, I was just, for me, it was just a kind of a gut. But it was interesting. I kind of looked at some of the data that there is out there on why most startups fail, and guess what? 34% of startup failures are due to poor product market fit.
Mm,
Now, operationally or functionally, it just really means you don't have good product management practice. What is product management? It's really understanding the market and understanding the products and understanding how that product fits that market or that customer, and keeping those aligned and not only kind of tracking it. Now, operationally speaking, and this kind of aligns with what I've kind of known for, let me say, longer than I wish, is that they're just very bad at doing product management. It's not appreciated. It's a kind of a secondary kind of construct, a secondary consideration, should I say? But it is the biggest single reason for failure. Other things are the second biggest reason is marketing strategies. And what does that mean? It's essentially, companies or these startups not really truly at the right kind of way, understanding who their customers are, where they are, and how to essentially kind of connect with them. So it's
yeah.
kind of interesting. So a lot of these are kind of outside in kind of things, understanding your customer. And the third biggest reason is really the age old things, skill shortage, especially in
Yeah.
these high skilled kind of technology areas that we kind of talk about. So those are the three biggest reasons. And things like, operationally been having suboptimal operations are actually right down in the kind of ninth or 10th reason for failure. So those operationally, that's not the reason. It's just really not understanding the market and not understanding how that product fits with that market and how to reach the customers within that market. So, it's quite simple, man. It's this is not rocket science.